next for the San Francisco 49ers in Week 5 is a home matchup against the Arizona Cardinals as we see another installment of this NFC West rivalry. And we're going to preview that game coming up here on the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. Really appreciate all of you for taking the time out of your day to watch the program here. A programming reminder, we will be live here on the Niners Report for our Niners-Cardinals watch party. The game begins at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live an hour before kickoff, but it won't be me who's on air. It will be the producer Chip and Trizzy show because my sister is getting married on Sunday in Washington, D.C. And people are saying that she doesn't love me because I told her for years, Brooke, I cover the NFL. Don't get married in the fall. Some of these spring months, they're beautiful. Don't get married on a Sunday. If you do get married in the fall, what did she decide to do? She gets married in the fall and on an NFL Sunday. I am in the wedding. I must attend. We have family members attending from all across America, from Australia, so I will be there, but Chip and Trace will crush it on Sunday. Super Chat giveaways, Super Chat MVPs, live play-by-play, audience interaction, and still the best place to experience a Niners game day outside of being at the actual game. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon. Therefore, anytime we push out a show, anytime we go live, you will be notified. So the stage is set for this Week 5 matchup between Arizona and San Francisco. Game taking place Sunday, October 6th. Kickoff is slated for 4:05 p.m. Eastern, 1:05 out there in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium. The over-under, somewhat high, 50.5. The Niners, more than touchdown favorites. 7.5-point favorites in this game. Last week against New England, they were 10.5-point favorites. That number kind of fluctuated throughout the week. The Arizona Cardinals through 4 weeks have been an interesting team. There's no doubt about it. Week 1, they did lose on the road against the Buffalo Bills, 34-28, but that was a highly competitive game against the Bills team, which we now know going into Week 5 is one of the top teams in the National Football League. In Week 2, the Cardinals returned home for their home opener, and they blasted the Los Angeles Rams by a score of 41-10. Week 3, the Cardinals lost to the Detroit Lions, a very good Lions team, and they only dropped that game by a touchdown. And then last week, Jaden Daniels was slinging it. He was cooking. He was balling out. He's completing 82% of his passes, well on his way to being Rookie of the Year, and he led the Commanders to a 42-14 victory. So the Cardinals, 42-14 losers against Washington last week. The Niners, on the other hand, kick off the season with a great win over the New York Jets. They were very dominant. Jordan Mason ran for more than 150 yards. Brock Purdy, very efficient once again. Niners won that game by 13 points, 32-19. And then the Niners hit a lull. They really struggle once again on the road against Brian Flores and the Vikings. They haven't won in Minneapolis since 1992. 8 straight losses in Minnesota. And then they lose a 14-point lead and a 10-point fourth quarter lead against the Rams. They piss that game away, and they lose by a field goal as that game came down to the last few seconds. But then the Niners able to get back on the wagon last week with the victory, 30-13 over the New England Patriots. My keys to the game for the Niners to pull out a win, and I'll expand on these thoughts all throughout the show. This Arizona Cardinals defense is not good. This Niners offense should gain a lot of yards. They should score a lot of points. They should run the ball successfully, and they should be able to compile a lot of explosive plays. So San Francisco can really thrive on the ground with Jordan Mason and in the air as Brock Purdy is putting together another MVP caliber season. The Niners do have to get better when finishing inside the red zone, or with finishing in the red zone, I should say. They're only finishing about 50% of their drives with touchdowns when they get inside the red area. That is not going to be sustainable, and that could hold this team back from reaching their ceiling. For this Niners defense, they were bad in weeks 2 and 3. There were some concerning trends in week 1, but in week 4, they gave up 3 yards per carry against New England. They didn't give up explosive plays. They sacked Jacoby Brissett 6 times. Nick Bosa, according to Next Gen Stats, had 9 pressures, a sack, a fumble forced, fumble recovery. This Niners defensive line was eating. They played really good football, and they were finally good on third downs. I want to see this Niners defense under a new defensive coordinator continue to make progress. And when you go up against Kyler Murray, you have to have pass rush lane discipline. If Kyler Murray gets out of the pocket, he can really hurt you. If you keep him confined in between the tackle box, that's when he really struggles because he's not a consistent pocket thrower and he's shorter, so his vision line gets blurred because he's that shorter quarterback who struggles to see the field when he's confined inside the tackles. This cannot be a trap game for San Francisco either. It will be a quick turnaround for the Niners as they travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Seattle is off to a 3-1 start. They've been a pretty impressive team so far this year. The offense looks really good. The defense, as far as EPA, was number 1 going into their primetime matchup against the Detroit Lions in Week 4. And then Jared Goff did not have an incompletion in that game. So when they went up against a legitimate offense, they really struggled. But of note, Mike Macdonald is the new Seahawks head coach. He was the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator last year, and that Ravens defense gave the Niners a lot of issues. And that type of style of defense, which halted the Niners last Christmas, has historically given Kyle Shanahan some problems. Now, in recent memory, the Niners have played very well against Seattle, but that game could be tough, and you can't look ahead to that game. I'm also curious, notably on the Niners injury report, Fred Warner with an ankle injury, George Kittle with that rib injury. They were in uniform during this Thursday practice session as we record this show. They did not practice. With the short week coming up, will they play? Will the Niners be cautious? We'll certainly keep tabs on that. Enough about Seattle. Back to Arizona. How the Cardinals have performed this year on both sides of the ball. They're averaging 24 points per game offensively. That's 13th in the NFL. 333 yards per game. That's 12th in the NFL. 5.7 yards per play, also 12th. They are the 10th ranked third down offense in the NFL. They're moving the chains 43% of the time. And when they get inside the red zone, imagine if the Niners had these numbers. They are scoring touchdowns nearly 73% of the time. But this Cardinals defense is not good, and this is why San Francisco can really put up a lot of offensive production come Sunday. 29th in points per game, 25th in yards per game, 28th in yards per play, 25th in third down conversion rate, and 25th in the red zone. And you look at this Niners offense, they've been really good this year outside of not being able to capitalize in the red zone. They're 8th in points per game at nearly 26. And keep in mind, September is always that extension of the preseason nowadays in the NFL with these new rules. The Niners are 2nd in yards per game picked up, 3rd in yards per play, and 5th in third down conversion rate. The Niners defense, only 10th in points per game allowed. That's pretty good. 9th in yards per game, but 19th in yards per play, 26th on third downs, and 18th in the red zone. Those 3 areas, the Niners have to get better, and they have to continue to be stout against the run. A lot more to get to here on this preview, but first, who you got on Sunday? Cardinals, Niners. Type ARI for Arizona, SF for San Francisco. Let me know down in the comments. If you want to go to this game, be sure to download the Game Time app for the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer, and you're guaranteed to get in the door with the best vantage point with the best price point. What do I mean by that? Well, you download the Game Time app, you create an account, and if you use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, you get $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. This is not just an app for sporting events, although if you want to go to a Niners game this year, plenty of tickets available, as you can see to my right, and some good games coming up. Cardinals, Seahawks, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bucks. Bucks game coming after the bye. You have the Seahawks after that. And what I was saying is that this isn't just an app for sporting events. If you want to go to a concert, a comedy show, a theater event, you can do that as well. Game Time has it all, and it's the best app in the ticketing marketplace. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. What time is it? Game time. That link to download the app and to get $20 off is down in the comment section and in the show notes of today's Niners Report. Now, San Francisco is certainly getting Arizona at a pretty good time. the Cardinals have had 3 of the lowest defensive performances among all teams in the NFL in their 4 games. So this defense has struggled mightily to kick off the 2024 campaign. So this is a week where the Niners offense can put up some digits, they can be productive, they can work on some personnel packages, they can get some players involved, they can have a balanced attack, and hopefully figure out their red zone flaws. Because this Cardinals team, they have not been good on the defensive side of the football. They're 29th in points per game allowed, 25th in yards per game allowed, 28th in yards per play, 25th in third down conversion rate, and 25th in red zone scoring percentage. So when you look at these numbers stacked up with how the Niners have performed on the offensive side of the football, there's no reason why San Francisco shouldn't be able to put up a lot of points in this football game and continue to be one of the top and most efficient offenses in the NFL. The Cardinals are also susceptible to giving up big chunks of yardage via the ground game. So I want to see Jordan Mason continue to be involved. He's been one of the top running backs in the National Football League. He is so fun to watch with the physical style that he runs with. And the Cardinals haven't really been able to stop the run in 2024. Yards per rush, 4.5 given up per tote. That's 17th among 32 teams. Rushing yards per game is 29th at 146.5. And they're giving up 2 rushing touchdowns per contest as well. That is 31st in the NFL. So Arizona is giving up a lot of yards on the ground, a lot of yards in total, and that's why I think this is going to be a game where Brock Purdy finds success, but the Niners can also get it going by running the football and keeping Kyler Murray on that sideline by dominating time of possession, as the Niners this year, number 1 in time of possession. Going back to the Niners' red zone woes, it's impressive how they've been able to move the football. But when they get inside the 20, they need to capitalize with touchdowns. That 4-point swing is huge on the scoreboard. It's huge as far as momentum goes. And when you start to play elite teams, when you get inside the playoff format and you're going up against some teams who deserve to be there with some really good defenses, you have to take advantage of those scoring opportunities. The Niners are scoring a touchdown 50% of the time when they're in the red zone. The Cardinals are giving up a touchdown nearly 69% of the time. 69, very nice. Kyler Murray, he is a threat. So the Niners have to have a specific game plan against one of the more exciting and unique quarterbacks in the National Football League. I'm not a huge Kyler Murray guy because I do think that to be successful in this league consistently as a quarterback, you have to be able to win consistently from the pocket. But that doesn't take away from the special ability that Kyler Murray has and the explosive player that he is. He's averaging 10.5 yards per completion nearly at 10.4 to be precise. And when he decides to tuck it and run it, and he can do that very well, he's averaging 10.3 yards per rush. So again, a major key to this game is stopping Kyler Murray and the dual threat nature that he has to his game. But as we know, the Niners have struggled against some of these mobile quarterbacks. So they will need pass rush lane discipline. They can't get all out of whack and let Kyler Murray get out of the pocket and start roaming, because then he's so difficult to defend when he's using his legs. He's difficult to bring down. He's fast. He has those quick feet. When he's in space, he can make guys miss, but also he can throw improvisationally and out of structure too. So keeping him contained inside that pocket, if the Niners can do that, I think it could be a long day for Kyler Murray. His sight line, because he's a shorter quarterback, always gets disrupted a little bit because of his lack of height. What's also interesting here is how well Kyler Murray plays with the opening script, the first 15 plays of the game that are scripted compared to the rest of the game. The opening 15 plays in 4 games this year, Kyler Murray is 22 of 27, 290 yards, 5 touchdowns, a sack, 5 scrambles. For those of you who don't know, oftentimes, and Kyle Shanahan does this, a team, when they're game planning, will put together an opening script, 15 plays, so that you can practice those throughout the week. You go through walkthroughs. So Kyler Murray kind of knows what's coming in these instances. But when he doesn't know what's coming outside of the script, that's when he can really falter. and that's when his game slips. All other dropbacks, he's 56 of 88 for 530 yards, a touchdown, a pick, 9 sacks, and 5 scrambles. So I want you to predict the score for me. Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, this NFC West game. I'm going with the Niners, 33-20. I think they match up very favorably against Arizona. It could be a tough game in moments just because of the threat that Kyler Murray possesses, but I'm still going with the Niners to cover the spread, drop a 33 burger, and get that dub.